Have you ever looked at your fruit bowl and asked yourself, how can something so natural be slowing me down? It's a truth most men and women over 60 have never heard from their doctor. You can eat healthy, go to bed on time, stay active, and still wake up tired, feel drained by evening, or simply feel like a lesser version of yourself. So what's behind it? The culprit might be sitting quietly in your kitchen, disguised as a ripe banana, a handful of raisins, or even a glass of fresh grapefruit juice. As an endocrinologist with over 30 years of experience helping adults navigate the complex journey of aging and nutrition, I've learned one thing. Most of us don't need to push harder. We just need to choose smarter. In this video, I'll show you 6 common fruits that may be quietly lowering your hormone levels, interfering with your medications, or triggering joint inflammation. And I'll guide you through simple, effective swaps that are easy to make, but often deliver noticeable results in as little as 7 days. So if you've been doing everything right, but your body keeps saying, not quite, this might be the moment where change finally begins. You know, it's funny how the smallest habits, those little things we do without thinking, can shape how we feel in ways we never expected. Take grapes, for example. They seem so innocent, right? Sweet, easy to snack on, full of antioxidant check, they even look healthy. You're not pouring sugar on your cereal, you're eating grapes. A better choice, or so it seems. That's what John believed. John is 67. He's just retired, takes care of his garden, still lifts light weights at home. He's the kind of guy who reads labels, skips the soda, and never misses his morning walk. But something started shifting. He felt like his old energy was slipping. Workouts felt heavier. He'd go to bed fine but wake up foggy. His moods weren't dark, just flat. And intimacy? Well, the spark wasn't gone, but it was quieter, like someone turned the volume down on who he used to be. He kept saying, "I'm doing everything right. What's going on?" So we walked through his day, meal by meal. Everything looked clean until we hit the evening. Every night, after dinner, John had a big bowl of grapes. His guilt-free dessert, he called it. He liked the sweetness, the crunch, the feeling that he wasn't cheating. But here's where it gets interesting. Grapes, especially red and black varieties, contain resveratrol, a polyphenol that's been hailed as an anti-aging miracle. And yes, in moderation, it can support heart health and even extend lifespan in some studies. But when you're over 60, with hormone levels already declining, resveratrol plus phytoestrogens in grape skins can start tipping the scale in the wrong direction, reducing testosterone and raising estrogen-like effects in the body. And it doesn't stop there. Grapes are also high in fructose, a natural sugar that, when consumed at night, can quietly convert to fat in the liver. And guess what that fat does? It increases aromatase activity, the enzyme that turns testosterone into estrogen. That's a double whammy. You're not just losing testosterone, you're building estrogen. And slowly, silently, it reshapes how you feel, how you move, and how you show up for yourself, and for the people you love. So what did we do? We didn't take fruit away. We simply swapped the grapes for a few slices of kiwi, or a small handful of pomegranate arils. Both are rich in antioxidants, but they support testosterone instead of working against it. Within 2 weeks, John said, "I didn't feel younger. I just felt more me again. More awake, more driven, more present in his body." And that's the real story. You don't need to chase your 30s. You just need to fuel the man you are with awareness, not assumptions. So if you're over 60 and something feels off your drive, your sleep, your sense of self, don't look for the problem in the mirror. Look at what's quietly sitting in your fruit bowl. Because sometimes what feels harmless is quietly rewriting your hormones. And the good news? You can rewrite it back one smart swap at a time. Let's move on and explore the second fruit. You've probably heard it before. Papaya is good for digestion. And that's true. It's gentle on the gut, packed with enzymes like papain, and often seen as the perfect after-dinner treat, especially as we get older. But here's the question nobody asks. Can something that helps your stomach quietly weaken your strength as a man? Let me introduce you to Tony. He's 70, sharp as a tack, still hits the golf course a few times a week. No major health complaints, no medications, and he's proud of the fact that he's never had to rely on pills for his performance. But over the last few months, something shifted. Not drastically, but just enough to make him feel like something was slipping. He said to me, "It's not that I'm tired, it's that my fire feels dimmer." We looked at everything: sleep, stress, blood work, exercise. And then I asked, "What's your evening routine?" That's when he smiled and said, "Oh, I always finish the day with a bowl of ripe papaya. Helps me sleep like a rock." And it probably does, because papaya contains more than digestive enzymes. It also has mild sedative properties, which calm the nervous system, and for some, especially men over 60, that calm can come at a cost-reduced stimulation, both mentally and hormonally. But that's not all. Papaya, especially when ripe, contains phytocompounds that can mimic estrogen-like effects in the body. Now, in moderation, that's fine. But if you're eating it daily, and especially at nighttime when testosterone production is already naturally lower, you might be nudging your balance in the wrong direction. Tony's case wasn't extreme, but it was enough to make a difference in how he felt and how he performed. So we didn't take papaya away. We just moved it to lunch where its benefits could still shine without interfering with his hormonal rhythm. Then, we added pumpkin seeds, a great source of zinc, and healthy fats in the evening. Zinc is crucial for testosterone synthesis, and it also supports prostate health, something every man over 60 should care about. The result? A month later, Tony walked into my office, smiling like he hadn't in a while. He said, "Doc, I didn't just feel better, I felt like I had something to offer again." And that's the point, isn't it? Health after 60 isn't about being perfect. It's about understanding the rhythm of your body, knowing when to add, when to remove, and when to simply shift the timing. Because food isn't just food anymore. It's a message, a signal to your biology. And if you've been doing all the right things but still feel like your edge is fading, maybe it's not what you're eating, but when you're eating it. So tonight, before that bowl of fruit hits the table, ask yourself, is this helping me rest or slowly dulling my fire? Papaya has its place, but so does your vitality. And sometimes, all it takes is a small shift to feel like yourself again. The third fruit, we all love the idea of eating light. It feels responsible, clean, even virtuous. And few things capture that feeling better than a bowl of strawberries. They're beautiful, low in calories, high in antioxidants. They taste like summer. And they seem like the perfect choice for any man trying to age well. But here's a question I don't hear asked often enough. Is this really what my body needs right now? Let me tell you about Brian. He's 65. Still plays tennis every Saturday, watches his diet, keeps his weight down. By most standards, he's the picture of healthy aging. But he came to me with a concern he couldn't quite explain. "I'm not gaining weight," he said, "but I feel like I'm shrinking." He wasn't wrong. His muscle tone had faded, especially in the chest and arms. His voice, once deep and confident, had grown a little softer, his posture sagged. But his labs, normal, no red flags. So I asked about his diet. Turns out, Brian had been drinking the same strawberry smoothie every morning for 3 years. Strawberries, almond milk, maybe a banana, light, fresh, and he thought smart. But here's the thing. Strawberries, while refreshing, are low in protein, zinc, and healthy fat nutrients your body absolutely needs to maintain testosterone and build muscle. After 60, when hormone levels are already declining, relying on low-calorie, high-water fruits like strawberries can quietly starve your system of what it needs most. And it doesn't stop there. Strawberries, when eaten in excess, may interfere with iodine absorption. Why does that matter? Because iodine fuels the thyroid, and the thyroid is tightly linked to testosterone regulation. When it's off, everything feels off. Your strength, your focus, your drive. So, we didn't throw the strawberries away. We rebuilt the smoothie. We kept a few berries for taste and antioxidants. But we added a scoop of Greek yogurt, plant-based protein, and a spoonful of ground flaxseed rich in omega-3s, and testosterone-friendly lignans. Within 2 weeks, Brian noticed a difference. His arms felt tighter, his voice firmer. He said, "I feel like my frame is filling back in." Even his wife commented on how he carried himself straighter, more present. And the truth is, that transformation didn't come from more exercise. It came from fueling his body more purposefully. You see, being lean is one thing, but losing vital mass, especially the kind that gives you power, presence, and pride, that's not health, that's erosion. So the next time you reach for that light and healthy fruit, ask yourself, is this feeding my energy, or quietly draining it? Because at this stage of life, it's not about eating less, it's about eating smarter. Not just for your heart, but for your strength, your voice, your fire. So yes, keep the strawberries, but give them a stronger partner, because your body deserves more than something pretty in a bowl. The fourth fruit, we all have that one habit that makes us feel proud. Maybe it's the walk we take every morning, maybe it's drinking more water, or maybe like Carl, it's a glass of fresh grapefruit juice squeezed by hand every single day. For over 20 years, Carl had this ritual. He's 72, no retired teacher, gentle spirit, still loves his crossword puzzles and Sunday walks. When he came to see me, he wasn't sick exactly, but something was off. "I don't get it," he said. "I eat clean, I walk every day, I take my medications on time, but my energy is all over the place. My blood pressure is still a mess. I just feel like I'm fading." So we looked at everything. His meals, his exercise, his sleep. And then, almost as an afterthought, I asked, "What do you usually have for breakfast?" He smiled. "Fresh, squeezed grapefruit juice. Every morning. Never miss it." That's when it clicked. See, grapefruit, despite its reputation as a healthy fruit, contains a compound most people have never heard of, furanocoumarins. These naturally occurring chemicals block a key liver enzyme called CYP3A4. Why does that matter? Because CYP3A4 is responsible for breaking down many of the most common medications used by people over 60, especially blood pressure meds like amlodipine or losartan, and yes, even erectile dysfunction drugs. When grapefruit blocks this enzyme, your liver can't do its job. Your medications build up in the bloodstream, not in a helpful way, in a toxic way. That quiet little glass of juice? It's turning your treatment plan into a roller coaster. You might feel fatigue, dizzy spells, swelling in the legs, or even strange heart rhythms. But because it doesn't happen overnight, because it feels like just a weird week, you don't suspect the fruit. That's what happened to Carl. So I asked him to do one thing: cut the grapefruit. No juice, no slices, just for 2 weeks. And guess what? His blood pressure started to level out, his energy came back. He said, "I never would have guessed grapefruit was doing this to me." Now, let me be fair, grapefruit isn't bad. It's rich in vitamin C, it's hydrating, and it's been part of wellness culture for decades. But after 60, when your liver slows, your medication list grows, and your hormonal rhythms shift, food isn't just nutrition anymore. It's part of your treatment plan. And grapefruit, for many, it's just not worth the gamble. So if you're taking any meds especially for blood pressure, cholesterol, or circulation, talk to your doctor, check your labels, and maybe look at your fruit bowl a little differently. Try an orange, try some berries, try knowing that the food you choose is working with your meds, not against them. Because staying healthy after 60 isn't about what you've always done. It's about what your body needs now and listening when it whispers. The fifth fruit, we all have a snack that feels innocent. A handful of something sweet, something that reminds us of summer. For Linda, that something was cherries. She's 67, retired nurse, still walks her dog every evening, still reads before bed. But lately, she'd been waking up feeling heavy, not in weight, in energy. Her joints were stiff, her mornings felt slower, and even after a full night's sleep, she'd drag herself to the kitchen, wondering where her spark had gone. At first, she thought it was age. It's just what happens after 60, right? But something didn't quite add up. Her diet was clean. She wasn't overexerting herself. She wasn't on any new meds. But then, I asked, "Do you have anything sweet at night?" She smiled. "Only cherries. I love them. They help me sleep." That's when the light bulb went off. See, cherries, especially the store-bought kind, or dried ones in glossy packaging, aren't as innocent as they look. They're high in natural sugar, yes, but that sugar doesn't disappear just because it came from fruit. In fact, as we age, our insulin response slows down. Our bodies don't process sugar as efficiently, especially after sunset, when metabolism naturally winds down. So while Linda thought she was calming her system before bed, what she was really doing was spiking her blood sugar. And that's not all. Cherries, especially when dried, are high glycemic, meaning they raise your glucose quickly and drop it just as fast. That crash can lead to overnight inflammation, joint stiffness, and even fatigue the next morning. If you're over 60, your body is already walking a tightrope of balance hormones, blood sugar, digestion, and one handful of the wrong snack at the wrong time can throw off that rhythm for hours. So what did Linda do? She stopped the cherries just for 10 days. No dried ones, no syrupy canned versions. And if she craved something sweet, she swapped in a few slices of fresh kiwi or unsweetened Greek yogurt. By day 5, her stiffness was lighter. By day 10, her mornings felt different, like the engine was finally turning over again. Here's the takeaway. Cherries aren't bad, but after 60, timing and type matter more than ever. Want a few fresh cherries in the summer? Midday is best. But avoid them at night, especially dried, processed, or sweetened versions. Because health after 60 isn't about cutting everything out. It's about cutting through the confusion and listening to what your body is quietly trying to tell you. So tonight, before you reach for that snack, ask yourself, is this helping me heal or holding me back? Your energy, your joints, your mornings, they all have a story. And sometimes that story starts with the fruit bowl. The sixth fruit. We grow up believing bananas are the gold standard of healthy snacks. Quick, portable, packed with potassium. And for decades, they've been recommended for cramps, blood pressure, even breakfast on the go. But here's the thing. After 60, your body's relationship with potassium isn't quite the same. Let me tell you about Robert. He's 74, a retired school principal. He gardens, walks with his wife every morning, and has always been proud of staying off most medications. But lately, something felt off. He started waking up with leg cramp sharp ones. His heartbeat would flutter at night. Not painful, but enough to feel unsettling. He'd get lightheaded when standing too fast. At first, he chalked it up to aging or stress. But then, during a routine checkup, his doctor asked about his diet. Robert smiled and said, "I eat healthy. I start every morning with a banana." That's when the red flag went up. See, as we age, our kidneys naturally become less efficient, especially when it comes to filtering out potassium. This isn't something you feel overnight. It's quiet, gradual, but very real. And bananas? They're loaded with potassium. In young, healthy bodies, that's a gift. But for older adults, especially those on blood pressure meds or with reduced kidney function, it can lead to hyperkalemia. That's a fancy word for too much potassium in the blood. Symptoms can look like, well, what Robert was experiencing: muscle cramps, heart palpitations, fatigue, lightheadedness. In severe cases, it can even lead to dangerous heart rhythms. Here's what's sneakier. If you're on potassium-sparing medications like ACE inhibitors or certain diuretics, like spironolactone or losartan, your body is already retaining more potassium than it used to. Add bananas to that mix, and suddenly, your morning habit becomes a quiet overload. So, what did Robert do? We simply asked him to pause bananas for 10 days. No major overhauls, no fear tactics, just a break. The change was almost immediate. His cramps eased up, his energy returned, the heart flutters faded. It wasn't about demonizing bananas, it was about timing, dosage, and the context of his body, now not the body he had at 40. So here's my message to you. Bananas aren't the enemy. But after 60, even good things can stack up the wrong way. If you're on kidney or heart medications, or waking up with unexplained cramps or fatigue, ask yourself, is your fruit bowl helping or overwhelming? The foods that nourished us in our youth don't always age the same way we do. And that's okay. Wisdom means adjusting, not restricting. Try rotating your fruit. Consider half a banana instead of a whole. Or explore lower potassium options like blueberries, or apples, especially if you're already taking meds that affect your kidneys. Because feeling strong and clear in your 70s doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing what works for your body right now. So the next time you peel that yellow fruit, just pause. Your body might be telling you it's time to listen more closely. The real takeaway from the desk of Sit Here with Teenagers. You don't need to fear fruit, but you do need to understand it. Your fruit bowl is not just a snack tray, it's a hormone influencer, a metabolism partner, and in many cases, a treatment amplifier. What's sitting quietly in your kitchen could be helping you heal or holding you back. It all depends on when and how you eat it. So next time you walk into your kitchen, don't just ask, what looks good? Ask, what feels right for me right now? Because the goal isn't to live like you're 30 again. It's to thrive at 60, 70, and beyond with clarity, strength, and the confidence that comes from living smart. And sometimes, that starts with a single piece of fruit. We're not here to fear food. We're here to understand it and to adapt with it. Because aging well doesn't mean cutting everything you love. It means listening more deeply to what your body now needs and letting go of what it quietly resists. Sometimes, all it takes is removing one nightly fruit that spikes your blood sugar, or adding one morning option that supports your testosterone, your sleep, or your heart. And suddenly, your day moves better. You think clearer. You feel like yourself again. As one of my patients once said, I didn't get younger, but I got lighter, and that changed everything. So start small. Change one habit, watch what shifts. Because aging is not about fading. It's about evolving. And if you're ready to evolve, subscribe to Sit Here with Teenagers, where we talk real, age smart, and stay strong together. Let's start today. Let's start with you.